fate of the Emperor!
What's up guys, welcome to my first video, and today I'm going to show you how I personally paint Ultramarines in my collection. Everything that I'm going to show you is pretty achievable for beginners, and you don't need anything super crazy. Like, you definitely don't need an airbrush or anything like horsehair brushes or anything like that. So all this stuff is pretty simple. We're going to be using Army Painter paints, Citadel paints, and a GW provided Space Marine that is pre-primed for beginners. And for your convenience, this video is going to be in two parts. Part one is going to be covering the basics. So for this, we're going to do Macrage Blue for the first step. This will help with better coverage. When you get to tidy things up, the actual paint you use to tidy things up will match with the model's base color. So even though it's primed blue, this is going to help you a lot. Next, what I like to do is recess shade the model, so this is going to help the panels stick out a lot easier. You're going to want to get that Nulin Oil into all the dips, the crevices, and the lower corners of the model. For this stage, we're going to hit the bolter, we're going to hit all of the joints, and anywhere else that is going to be silver, we'll hit that with any black paint. You don't need to use Army Painter, it's simply what I had on hand. And for this stage, any errors I make, I simply go back with Macrage Blue and I'll tidy up, so I'll just paint over the black. That's something that I tend to do with a lot of stages. I'm a pretty sloppy painter, but it's pretty easy to tidy up. Next, we're going to hit the chest Aquila, the shoulder trim, and the Aquila on the bolt rifle. Whenever you guys use gold or silver or any sort of shiny paint, I highly recommend you guys change out your water cup or even keep a separate water cup for those types of paint. And the reason for this is it simply allows you to prevent metal flakes from appearing on different parts of your model whenever you wash off your brush or use a different paint. For this next stage, we're going to use Mournfang Brown. We're going to get the belt around the Ultramarine's waist, as well as any pouches. Now, you could opt for using black leather, and I will probably do a tutorial for that in the future, but for this one, we're going to be using Mournfang Brown. Now, this stage is pretty difficult, especially around the belt. It's easy to get paint somewhere where you don't want it, so just take your time. Next, we're going to get every metal detail on the model. So for this type of stage, I would usually use lead belcher, but again, I'm running low on Citadel. I need to go get some more, but theoretically you could use any dark tone silver paint, or if it's a lighter tone, you just wash it, and that's what we're going to do later. So you guys don't see it, you'll see it in the next step. Just make sure you get the scope of the bolt rifle and inside the vent sockets. So theoretically for this, you guys could use any sort of white. I do prefer Screaming Skull as it's sort of tan. It's a good mid-tone for the purposes I need it for. And in the next stage, we're going to hit it with a contrast paint and you'll see what happens. Sadly, I forgot to record this, but the actual cloth is hit with Serpent Sepia Shade. I will put this in the description below. Next, we're going to hit all the gold details with Reikland Flesh Shade. Again, the bolt rifle, I did the step in the wrong order, so just make sure you're doing that as well. Finally, this is what you should have so far. We've done some of the base coating, we've done a little bit of washes and recess shading. So take a good look, make sure you guys have what I have. If you want, take your time, pause the video, whatever you guys need to do. Again, you guys could use any sort of white paint for this. I like to use White Scar. It's a super bright one. And if you get on top of like the eyebrow part of the helmet, don't worry, you can always tidy that up. That's usually what I do. Like I said, I'm a sloppy painter. If you guys are looking for a different type of lens color, just what I recommend is using contrast paint. I'll put some options in the description, but I like green on my Ultramarines, so that's what I'm going with. So this contrast paint is actually my holy grail. I love using it for my plasma energy, like coils. I like using it for some scopes and even lens on my Imperial Fist. Just make sure you guys don't go too heavy with it. A little goes a long way with this type of contrast paint. So at this point, you guys do not need to do a stone base if you don't want to. I personally want to. It matches my army, and I think it pops really well with the Ultramarines. And with that, the model's base is washed, and we are finally done our Ultramarine.